Hi guys, today we are gonna learn about flexbox. It's a very powerful CSS property. You must have used display block, display inline block, display table. Now you can even use display flex. Flex is made specially to layout things for different screen size and different width of browsers. When you want to make a responsive layout, you used to write a lot of code. You need to get your way around with different hacks, and in some cases you need to even apply JavaScript. You also need to make changes in HTML file or create a completely new HTML file to achieve desired results. Flex cut down all this work and can give you desired results by making changes only in one CSS file with only a few line of code. Flex will prove to be a very powerful tool in your coding belt. So let's see how Flex works. So this is a three Flex items. I'm just a second. So this is a three Flex items. Coral, light green, and silver boxes. I'm changing the width of the browser. You can see it shrinks and it uses this width of the browser, and it is growing also. This is achieved through Flex. Okay, so let's go to text wrangler or my text editing file. create a new file create a new file. Okay, save the file with flex lesson. I'm giving a HTML extension and save it. Okay, now let's write the basic code. HTML head, give it a title, flex lesson title, and close the head tag. We'll also need to give a style. I'm going to write the CSS in the same file as HTML. Okay, or okay, to achieve this we need to make a three flex item. Okay, three different colors: coral, light green, and silver. Now, and we need to put all this item in one main container, and we have to give it a display as flex. So we'll create a three main we'll give it create four divs. We'll create a main container and give it a ID of container, and we create a subdivs. We'll create a three child container, and we'll give a ID of header. Close it. We'll create another container, give it a ID of main. Close it, and we'll create a last container, give it a ID of footer. Close it. Close the main container. Okay, so we now change the CSS of container. Okay, and now see, flex is currently in experimental form in all the browsers, so we need to put the vendor prefix of flex. Since I'm working on Mac and I'm using Safari, I'll give a vendor prefix of WebKit. WebKit is used for Safari and Chrome. WebKit is used in Chrome and Safari. Okay, so we'll give a display flex and close it. Okay, and if you're working on Firefox, you need to give the vendor prefix of mouse and Lastly, give a fallback of display flex when the flex property becomes standardized, so it can fall back to display flex. Okay, we'll close the main container and we'll make a give the properties for three child container: header, header, flex items to all the container. So we need to give a webkit flex. Okay, so to make the child item as a flex item, you need to give a flex. Since it's a vendor prefix I'm adding, it is webkit flex. Okay, and we'll give a property later on. We'll give a height to each items as 200 pixel, and color, background color light green. Close it. For another child item, main, I'm gonna give my flex. I'm gonna give a value later on. Let me explain one few things. Okay, height 200 pixel and background color coral. Okay, for the footer ID, I'm gonna give a webkit flex. Okay, height same as 200 pixel and background color as silver. Now we can give a ratio to the flex item. Okay, here this see we can put ratio in this all these three values. Okay, I'll put a header, give a ratio as 2, and give a main ratio as 3, and give a footer as 2. So in total we are giving see the whole width. Okay, let me show you the example directly. Flex lesson, go to the Safari, open new tab, open the file. It's in desktop, flex lesson. So this is a 3 box, and you can see I've given 2 ratio to light green, 3 ratio to coral, and 2 to silver. So it is divided equally. No, it is divided. It takes the whole width of the browser and divides in the ratio which I've given them. I specify the height, so it's taking height of 200 pixels. I'll also add a border radius, border radius to each item of 10%. 10%. Okay, so now it looks much better. Okay, and we can now give a width also using flex basis. Flex basis is used to give width. Flex basis to each of the child item I'll give a width. I'm giving a width of 200 pixel. So I'll copy this and give a width to each item as 200 pixel. Okay, so you can see when I change the size of the browser, it is shrinking. All the three items is shrinked, and when I'm increasing the size of the browser, it is growing. It is growing. This is because by default it grows and shrinks. I've given the flex ratio 2 3, so by default it grows and shrink. You can even control the grow and shrink property using flex grow. So vendor prefix webkit flex grow. I can set it to 0, it will not grow. I can write it to 1, it will grow 1, it will grow. I can write it 2, 3, 4, 5, it will grow 5 times faster compared to other item, 4 times faster compared to other item. So I'll make it to 0, it will not grow. Okay, so I'll copy this grow and put it in all the child elements. I don't want any of them to grow. So let's see what happens. Save the file, switch browser, refresh it. Okay, sorry, I forgot to add dash. Save the file, go to browser and refresh. See, it's not growing. But you can see if I reduce the size of the browser, it is shrinking. It is still shrinking. Now to control the shrink of the flex item, you can use it flex shrink. WebKit flex shrink. Okay, and similar, if you set it to 0, it will not shrink. It will set it to 1, it will shrink. And if you increase the number, it will shrink that times faster than compared to other item. So let's make it shrink to 0 to see the changes, and copy and paste it to other two items also. Save the file, switch to browser, refresh the browser, and see when I reduce the size of the browser, it is not shrinking. See, I have to scroll it to see all the items, it is not shrinking. Okay, so this you can using flex shrink, flex grow and flex basis, you can control the grow, shrink and width of the browser. Okay, let's see how it grows. Suppose I make a grow of 1 to header, grow of 5 to main, and grow of 1 to footer. So what happens that main item will grow 5 times faster compared to other two items. Let's see in the browser. See, you can see that it is shrinking very fast. Okay, right now it is not shrinking anymore. It is achieved the width of the three items, and when I grow it, you can see that the middle coral box is growing faster than other two items. Even though all the three items are the same width, 200 pixels, the middle item is growing faster than other two items because I have set it to 5. Okay, all these three properties, grow, shrink and basis, can be written in shorthand form in place of flex. In place of this 3, it can be written in inside WebKit flex. So I'll write it all the three properties over here first. Now the grow is 1, shrink is 0 and basis is 200 pixels. Width or the basis is 200 pixels. I'll remove these three items. Okay, similar in the main content, the grow is 5, shrink is 0 and basis is 200 pixel. I'll remove this 3 item. Okay, and in footer also, the grow is 1, is shrink is 0, basis is 200 pixel. I remove the unnecessary 3 items. Save the file, go to browser and refresh it. We don't see any changes. We expected this. Okay, the width is 200 pixel, it will not shrink beyond 200 pixels, and it is growing 5 times faster, the middle one. Okay, now you can even change the direction of the, currently it is in row form, all the three items is in same row. You can even change the direction to column. All these three items will stack in below one another. To change the direction, go to the main container and add WebKit flex direction. WebKit flex direction and change it to column. Save it, go to browser, refresh it, and you can see that it has changed the direction to column. Okay, so this is back to row. Okay, row, and you can even add a property as wrap. What's the use of wrap? I'll tell you in just a second. I'll add the property wrap, webkit flex wrap. We have to write the wrap property in the main container. I'll give the value as wrap. We'll save it, go to browser, refresh it, and we can now see what happens when we shrink beyond the width of the flex item. Now you can see that the gray box has come below the two items. This is because we have set the value as wrap. Okay, it is wrapping. If the width of the browser goes beyond the width of all the three items, the last of the item goes below the two items. If I'll change the width to 300 for each of the item. Okay, 300. Now you can see when I reduce the width of the browser, when the width of the browser goes less than 900 pixel, the gray box goes below all the two items. When I reduce the width more and it goes below the width of two blocks item 600 pixels, the orange box goes also below the green box. This is because we have set the wrap property and given the value as wrap. So this is the use of wrap. It is used to it is used to keep all the items in the screen size, in the width of the browser, so that the user don't have to scroll it. Okay, it will show all the three items in the viewport. Okay, we can wrap also take wrap reverse, no wrap, wrap reverse. It will reverse the direction of the wrap. Now let's see how it reverse. Yeah, the silver item is going above. Okay, and you can see the coral item will also go above, below the silver, above green. So this is the use of wrap reverse, and we can even put it no wrap. And this is the use of wrap reverse, and we can give. So this is the use of wrap reverse. We can give a no wrap and inherit property. It will inherit from the parent element, and no wrap will give no wrap to the elements. The short form of wrap and direction, the shorthand, is flex flow. So we can give a webkit flex flow and give the direction row and give the property wrap over here. We can remove these two things and save the file, refresh it. What we get is the direction row and wrap property, but both are working fine. Okay, so use of this. What's the use of this? I'm telling you about that it is useful for responsive layout. So let's see one example. Suppose you want to have a different layout for a different screen size. Okay, so we don't have a different screen. I'll use a different width of the browser. So let's use media query screen and max width 915 pixel. Okay, so we'll change the direction to column. Okay, let's change the direction to column. So we'll go to main container and change the flex flow, webkit flex flow to column. We are changing the direction and we are changing wrap reverse also. Okay, and wrap reverse, and we'll save the file. We'll go to browser, refresh it, and we'll decrease the width of the browser by less than 915 pixel. So we can see that. Okay, sorry, I forgot R. Okay, refresh it. We'll reduce the width of the browser, and you can see when it goes less than 915 pixels, the directional row is changing from row to column. Okay, row to column. So wrap property won't work over here. Wrap property only works on row. Okay, so we have seen one example of responsive layout. So see how easily it was done using CSS without changing the HTML code, without changing the position of this from to change it to column, without changing this header main footer position. We can just work with CSS. Just to the flex property, grow, shrink, and width property. Okay. Now there are few more properties of flex. Few more properties of flex. Four more properties of flex, and now then flex is complete. So there are four more properties: align content, justify content, align items, and align self. Okay, what's the use of this? Three of them goes in the main container, and align self is used to change the property for each child element. Header, main, footer. You need to put align self in this containers. So let's first use align content. WebKit align content. So we can use it and put the align content. Align content takes some values like flex start, flex end, space around, space between, center. Okay, let's use center, and we give a height of 90 vh, 90 width of the viewport. We'll save the file, refresh it. So you can see the all the three items are aligned to the center of the 90 vh width, height, 90 vh height. Okay, we can change it. Change it to flex start. So all the three items goes in the start position. Flex end, it goes below, and space around, space around. For this we need to remove this screen size. Media query, we don't have to make the changes in the media query. So it goes in space around is it gives a space over here and over here. It gives a space around. So if you change the width of the browser, you can see the silver space around also gives a width in between. It will give more width to the top and bottom, and it will get less width in between. So this is the use of space around. We can even use it for in space between. Space between. So if you reduce it, see, you can see that it gives more space in between. This doesn't give space in bottom. This is the height of the whole container. It only gives space in between. So that's the use of value space between. Okay, so this is flex align content. Align content is used to position the child elements on the together in start position, center, and space between, space around. Okay, and we can now work on justify content. Matlab flex align content is used to position elements in the horizontal, sorry, in the vertical direction, and justify content is used to position the elements in the horizontal direction. Let's see how justify content works. So instead of align, we'll use justify, and we'll give a space between. So for that, we'll stop the growing to 0, 0, 0, and refresh it. So this is space between. It has given the space in between of the child elements, and it also takes same values as align content. We can give it space around, space around. So it gives space around of the items, and in also in the between. and we can even put flex end. So all the three items are moved to the right side of the screen, that is flex end. Again gives us space in left side, and we can use it center. So it will position the all the three items in the center of the screen. So this things is useful when you're working with website. When you're designing a website, these things are useful. See, you can see the these things are useful when you're designing a website. You can see the flexibility of flex item, how flexible it is, how in different ways you can make the changes to the flex item. Okay, so there is also few more things. Now we align items works same way as justify content. Instead of horizontal direction, it works in perpendicular direction. Okay, so let's remove, and we have one more property, align self. Align self goes in the child element, and let's see the webkit align self. Align self, let's make it center. Okay, so what we see that the green green child has moved to the center of the element. So if you want to just move the one item, not the whole container, then you use align self. Now align self takes property as value as flex start, center, flex end, stretch, and baseline, and inherit. Okay, so suppose I will try stretch. So, and I've removed the height also. So see, it is stretched. It is taking the whole height of the container, main container. So okay, and that's all, guys. Hope you enjoyed learning Flex and use it in your website designing. Thank you.